it's been a dog's age.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a dog's age since your favorite duo, Connor and Jack, were back on Deadball TV talking footy. And y'all thought we were going to move on from the Copa America. You so wrong. You
Yeah.
so wrong. We
You thought
right
this was
back.
old news. You thought we were doing transfers. You thought something. You were like, thank God this period of our lives is over. The summer of football is over. No, we're hanging on for dear life.
You thought this was going to be Premier League predictions. Absolutely not. It's
not.
going to be stock up, stock down, Copa America edition. Basically, in a nutshell, what this means is we're going to be talking about the players that we feel like had the biggest stock increase or decrease based on how they performed at the Copa America. If you guys like videos about international football, smash that subscribe button, drop a like in the video, and thoughts down below in the comments. Biggest stock up, biggest stock down. We're starting with stock down because we are some haters. I'm going to go first, Connor. And I'm going to say Darwin Nunez, stock down, baby.
You know, dude,
stock down.
I had an inkling. I had a brief 30-second conversation with myself about Darwin Nunez. Give me your reasoning
In the mirror
rationale here. No, just within my own head. You know, I'm alone in my room, so I just kind of like Taxi Driver. I just kind of faded out, and I came back to consciousness, and I was like, I'm not going to put him on there. So give me your reasons for.
The reasons for me is that I think he had the opportunity to say I'm the best 9 in CONMEBOL, and he didn't. He was objectively disappointing. And I think there's always been the two Darwin, Jekyll and Hyde, right? There's always been Liverpool Darwin, and there's been Uruguay Darwin. And the Uruguay Darwin has always kind of provided some health potion, to the damage that he's taken at Liverpool at times. And then at the end, on top of him being unplayable in the World Cup qualifiers. But then when the actual Copa America happened, it just wasn't there. 2 goals in the tournament. He had the second highest expected goals as well, behind Lautaro Martinez. The difference is Lautaro had 5 goals in 2 starts, by the way. Darwin Nunez had 2 goals in 6 starts. So I don't think you need to be a mathematician to realize that the numbers aren't there for Darwin. And I think the eye test also wasn't there for Darwin. He should have scored against Colombia. He should have had several goals against Panama. Should have annihilated Bolivia. Had to score against Canada. I love Darwin. I'm a big fan. But I'm not saying his stock went down 50%, like it just dropped off a cliff. But for me, it did go down a little bit. But I think for the average casual, the plastic, I think it probably took a significant punch.
For me, man, I kind of saw this coming, and I think we talked about it in our best offenses prediction video. My expectations for him weren't that high. I knew that when the CONMEBOL came around, or when the CONMEBOL Copa America came around, that in the tournament it would be a different scenario. Teams are going to play to a different level, and he would face a higher average level of competition here. And I figured he was going to struggle with that. You made some really good cases for him, and you're right. He should be doing significantly better. He should be the recipient of the Golden Boot, especially with the amount of games he played. Like, they finished third. That is a lot of games, a lot of starts. There's really no excuse for anything less than, 3 or 4 goals, maybe.
Hey, and who saved Uruguay in that third place game? It was Luis Suarez.
Yeah, the Pistolero had to come through and do God's work, and it was a really nice goal.
Of course,
one of the best of the tournament. Just what you'd expect from Luis Suarez, but I don't know. My expectations were kind of tailored with Darwin, which is why, for me personally, I didn't put him on the stock down. I was not necessarily shocked. Like, watching it, I was like, okay, this is the worst possible, maybe not the worst possible timeline, but this is a bad timeline for Darwin. This is a bad situation he's gotten himself into. I mean, he looked like Liverpool. He looked like Liverpool Darwin, which, I mean, kind of fits when you think about how the defenses and game plans would be more tailored to giving out less opportunities for him, and he's just playing to a higher level of competition, much like he does in the Premier League.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but he didn't play against that high level of opposition, and he had the chances. I mean, his XG was the second in the tournament.
I'm saying they get up, they raise their abilities because this is the Copa America. This is the Copa America.
Sure, but who was a better defense, Tottenham or Bolivia?
Right, I
I don't care if
understand.
it's the Copa America or Mundial. Like Tottenham have
See,
the better back
I
line.
do, I do care if it's the Copa America,
It
because
doesn't accelerate it that much.
yeah, I think it does, and we saw it happen here. I don't think that's him necessarily changing his game or anything. I think it's just exposing who he is as a player. You know, they're not going to play as hard in World Cup qualification where he was tearing it up. And also, the teams were
I
getting
don't know.
adjusted to the Uruguayan game plan. This honestly did not shock me all that much.
I think it's a massive shocker. And like you played against 3 pretty poor defenses
Yeah.
and you got 2 goals. It's not acceptable. Like however
No,
you want to skin the cat, it's
it is
unacceptable.
unacceptable. I'm completely with you there. I'm completely with you there.
We should move on for the sake of time.
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you
You
think?
you want me to give you one?
Stock down. Yeah,
Dude,
let's just
stock
go
down.
band for
I
band here.
think, dude, and you know what? I think you're gonna have the exact same argument that I just had for this cat. I'm
Okay.
saying Timothy Weah. I'm saying Timothy Weah, big
Mm,
dog, single-handedly put the U.S. in a horrible position with his red
yeah.
card. Contributed nothing, a nothing burger offensively. Like he was a net negative any way you want to swing the hammer here. And
Yeah.
in addition to him not producing anything in his play, he also proved himself that he can be a liability in some situations, right?
Mhm.
You're immediately going to be targeted from now on by players like Rodrigo de Paul and Cuti Romero, who want to bring the worst out of you and draw those cards. And I mean, you just proved yourself a target right here, put the U.S. in a terrible position. And frankly, I don't want to say single-handedly responsible because there are other people culpable, but you're a major contributing
Yeah.
factor to the U.S. becoming the first host nation in Copa America history to not make it out of the group stage.
I'm going to agree with stock down for Tim Weah because how the hell could it have been stock up? But if y'all watch Dead Ball TV, you know I think Tim Weah is the most average player ever. I mean, he's just not, he's hardly worth talking about. But I think he is stock down in the sense that not only are you mid, bro, but you're also a liability. So in that sense, I agree. He was a stock down. I had one yank on my stock down,
Mhm.
and it was Weston McKennie for me.
Whoa. Okay.
And I say that I can pull up some stats. US third lowest successful passing team at the tournament, only better than Peru and Bolivia. 75% successful pass rate. McKinney himself, less than 70% successful passing.
That's
One
terrible.
successful take on the entire tournament, dude.
Yeah.
But you know why he stocked down for me? It's not the stats. It's the fact that this was the first time, and I'm curious if you agree, that I saw some Weston McKennie criticism. We can call it on the timeline. People calling him fat. People saying he looked out of shape. People saying he doesn't look like he's trying enough for the U.S., which I agree with everything, by the way. But I saw that and I was like, okay, Weston McKennie is not protected, but he is pretty loved. And I thought it was telling that, especially after the Panama game and the Uruguay game where he basically did nothing, fans were like, brother, you a $35 million player at Juventus. You
Yeah.
got to be better.
Yeah, you got to be better.
So
It's his plot armor fell off, right? His plot
it
armor
fell off.
became vulnerable. The echo chamber was even voicing their opinions. Okay, yeah. No, I really like that one. I like that one. I would not have put that, you know, given the eye test. He didn't do many incredible things. He didn't do many bad things. The one thing I disagree with there is I think his desire. I thought he had a desire there, and I thought he had some good moments. My general feelings towards him really didn't shift, so I didn't put him in the stock down. But those are some really eye-opening stats there,
Yeah.
especially for, like you said, a $35 million Juventus player. That's
Yeah.
rough. That's rough.
Yeah, that is rough. And I think this might be the first time. I'd love for US fans to let us know in the comments. This might be the first time that we're even having a discussion about who is that 8 for the US. And that only happens if it's a stock down for the tournament. I'm right. Like if Weston balls out, nobody's going to be like, could we play Yunus Musa and Johnny Cardoso at the same time? No one's going to say that because Weston
Right.
just stood on business. But he didn't. He got stood on. And so now that's why I think he's a stock down for me. And I
Now
think
the
there's a couple
yeah,
US nominees, but I think he was the biggest one for me.
I okay, yeah, I think I can get behind that.
Okay.
Um,
Throw
I
another one
think
at me.
for me, I'm going Valverde. Valverde. If you watched our coverage of the
I love this
Copa
nomination.
America, and I knew you would. This is one where I put it down and I was like, Jack's gonna have a field day with this. If
Mhm.
you watched our coverage, you knew that we were just severely disappointed with Valverde. During the live streams, I mean, he was kind of a punching bag, but for good reason. I don't even know what else to say about him. Like, kind of a nothing burger. The man, we would count his passes, and they would always go backwards. Always. The man contributed almost nothing offensively, and if that's not
Yeah.
his role in the game plan, that's fine. But dude, that's a major, like, I don't know. I just did not see that coming. I did not think there was a
Yeah.
world where, a superstar for Real Madrid and a guy who I love to have on my FIFA teams for like long shots outside of the box and just like sort of an offhand threat. I just did not see a nothing burger of a performance in the cards for him, and that's what it was. That's what it was.
So I looked at this a lot after the tournament and when I was preparing for this video, and I was actually shocked to see that Valverde, the eye test versus what the stats tell you, is crazy because he was actually number one in progressive passes at the tournament. What I think that comes down to is three different games, in particular Bolivia, which I think was his best game, but they won 5-0. Who cares? Colombia being down a man for 75 minutes, where Colombia basically didn't have the ball. I think that flattered him a little
Yeah.
bit as well. And then how open the Canada game was in the third place match. I think those games really inflated his numbers. And I think if you look at the other games, I don't want to say the games that matter more, but I'm talking games against strong opposition in Brazil and the United States. And even Panama, he was getting outplayed by Christian Martinez for parts of the game, for the love of God, you know? So I think Valverde probably protected himself because the stats make him look good. But if you watched him and if you have expectations for him that we do, then I think you're like, this was a stock down. I don't think he tumbled 40% on the stock market. But I do look at him, I'm like, brother, I was ready to. It's not even I'm a fan. I was ready to crown you the best midfielder.
Yeah.
You were my crowned best midfielder before the tournament, and it just wasn't enough. Last thing I'll say, I wonder if the Bielsa system is particularly difficult for offensive midfielders to stand out because of how vertical they are. They don't like to possess the ball. They like to just Nandes or Vina long balls, try to get it to the wingers, find Darwin. It is very direct, and I think it's difficult for Fede in that situation. But still, you want to be one of the best midfielders in the world, you got to do better. So I'm gonna do the rare thing and walk the line here. I'm gonna say he was disappointing. Stock down. I'm not gonna argue too much on that. Kind of depends. How did you view this man going into the Copa? I think is kind of how you would talk about Fede.
Agreed.
I got one that I think is irrefutable. And I genuinely think this man is in contention for the biggest stock down of any player.
Oh
And
boy.
this is not hatred, but this is facts. And that's Endrick. I think Endrick, there's a lot of hype machine. Look, we've all seen the memes. He's talking about Uruguay 1924 is the best side of all time. His favorite, historical figures, Nelson Mandela. The guy is a PR genius. We've never seen anything like this before. The way that he can constantly stay in the zeitgeist on Twitter. It's incredible. He speaks 5 languages or whatever. I mean, the dude is a maestro. It's insane watching him do this. But on the pitch, brother, during this Copa America, Connor, how many completed passes do you think Endrick had in the Copa America? Keep in
Total
mind, he started total. How many completed passes did he have at the Copa America? He started one game against Uruguay.
40?
Divide that by 10.
No. No.
Brother, he had 4 completed passes.
Woof. Woof.
That's what I'm saying, dude. How do we defend this? What do you say?
God, dude, you don't say anything. You say that stat and the room gets quiet. I mean,
And I fold up my briefcase. I walk out. There's nothing. I rest my case, Your Honor. There's nothing else you need to say. The dude did absolutely nothing. And I need to say it again. I'm a fan of this kid. But we're talking, oh, has Brazil found the next Neymar? The next Neymar. He's averaging 1.3 completed passes per game, and you're talking about the next. Don't insult Neymar like that.
don't insult
That's
Neymar like that.
insulting.
Oh boy.
It's just too.
Oh my
It's the
God.
clearest example of
No, this-
we are too soon, bro. We are way too soon with this. We just gotta let him. We just gotta let him be better. I think he's going to be a very good player, but he's
yeah.
so clearly not ready right now.
Yeah.
I think it's a massive stock down.
Give him time. And not every great player is going to have a phenomenal first tournament. Like we can go back, we could look at the friendlies, a goal at Wembley and a goal against Spain. That's nothing to turn your nose up at. This man still has a lot of potential, but dude, I'm telling you, I know you're not a huge proponent of this, but when the tournament comes around, the Copa America is different. You're going to have teams playing up to a higher standard, and he just probably hadn't seen that before at the international level. Not to mention, you're putting a massive expectation on this very, very young kid with a Brazil squad that is not their best. It's not their best. Maybe it is a different
Terrible.
conversation if Neymar is playing, with him. I don't know how that squad stacks up then, but
Right.
that's a
If
really
he's
damning
got
stat line.
Ronaldinho behind him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I
I
see
play
what you're
different with
saying.
Ronaldinho behind me.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I'd probably start. Well, depends. I'd start an international friendly against Trinidad. I like to think that. Last thing I'll say about Endrick, I hear what you're saying that he might not be used to the competition level, but if you think about it, bro, let's be honest. I know it's not pound for pound the same. It's not apples to apples, but it is apples to peaches. He played England, Spain, and Mexico in international friendlies all away days. Like it's not like he had been playing Curacao in the Maracanã and then he went up against the mighty Uruguay. Like he's also playing in the Brazilian league, bro. That's a top 10 league in the world. Like he's going up against full-grown men. So I think two things can be true at the same time. Like you can be critical of him and also be like, the ceiling is super, super high because it is. Nobody at Deadball TV is like, oh, Endrick confirmed flop. It just no doubt
Correct.
was a super, super disappointing tournament. You got another player?
Dude, I got plenty. It's just a matter
Stock up.
of who I want to put. You want me to take the should I be humble here for my last one, or should I cause some strife?
I think you should go viral right now.
All right, Santi Gimenez. Now that's not going to get me viral, but I think everybody had higher expectations for Santi Gimenez, and a lot of them
Argentine confirmed.
were kind of unjust. But dude, watching him, I was like, there's no more argument here. Like, I think that a lot of this is going to be inflated and really damning for him when it shouldn't be, right? Like he should have been the savior of Mexico. He can't do that if he's not getting balls up to him, right? Mexico lacks a
Like the criticism,
progressive
you mean?
the criticism. Mexico lacks a
Okay.
progressive midfielder to get the ball at his feet, right? You can argue the same for maybe Endrick or you're missing Neymar there. You need somebody to get the ball to him, but I think that he is taking a pretty big hit here. And whether it's just or unjust, we can go into a longer conversation about that at a different time. But dude, I, I think people are just really selling on him right now. And he's a far cry from when he was scoring goals left, right, and center in
Yeah.
Europe. So I feel kind of bad for him. My heart goes out to him because I want him to do well. Guy's Argentine Mexican. Two cultures that I hold very, very dear to my heart, one of which I'm a part of, you know? You know what? Two of which I'm a part of. I had some al pastor tacos when I was in Fredericksburg, and the guys at the restaurant asked me why my Spanish was so good. And I was like, well, I'm a devout follower of El Tri. So they told me to leave immediately. Um, no, but yeah, I think he's kind of in the mud right now. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, you should have told the Pastor guys that you were related to Santi Gimenez, and it wouldn't have been completely inaccurate.
No.
Um, I agree with you though. Like Santi has to be stock down. You can debate how down, but we're talking 12 months ago, dude. There were people saying he was better than Jonathan David and was the best line in CONCACAF. We know why that argument was being made, but I feel like he was probably the consensus too, right? And then Balogun was third. Well, after this Copa America, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think Balogun might have leapfrogged him in the CONCACAF 9 rankings. And it's just going on. I'm like, I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of a bad movie, dude. I'm in the
Yeah.
director's cut of some horrible DC Comics movie that I just want to leave, and I can't get out. And that's Santi Gimenez with Mexico. It's just getting. I'm not gonna say it's getting worse. It's just the same. It's not getting better. And so that's why we're running out of excuses for yet another completely unimpactful performance, you could say.
Yeah.
Um, the Mexicans that I highlighted, because I needed to throw some on here, and very quickly, I nominated both Uri Lentuna and Oberlin Pineda, just because I feel like after we won the 2023 Gold Cup, everybody was like, have we been wrong about these guys? Maybe they are actually. No, they're not good. They're not good. They never were good. Their level was exposed yet again. Neither of them should be playing. If you want to make them a sub, sure. But getting big minutes for Mexico going forward is not acceptable for either of these two guys. Stock down.
Yeah.
Last one, and let's go to stock up here. I want to ask you about this one. Nico Gonzalez. See stock down?
He was my next up.
Okay.
I was deciding between him and Santi there. I have Nico Gonzalez here. And I like Nico Gonzalez ever since he
Mm-hmm.
dropped 2 against Peru. Way back in the day. I'm talking, dude, what was that? 2020, 2019? It's a long time ago. Long time ago.
Dinosaurs were walking around.
Dinosaurs were walking around the earth. My dad was still playing football.
You could get a choripan for 50 Argentine pesos back then. Now that shit gonna run you 700
minimum.
minimum. That's without chimichurri. That's an extra 50.
That's an extra 50 right there. Yeah,
That's
dude.
extra 50.
Nico, I'm gonna do the same thing. I think this is kind of unjust because there was desire there was impetus, there were
Yes.
moments of really good football, but dude, guy was, I mean, he got bit by the Darwin bug. He just couldn't put him away. I mean, he's said in multiple interviews, he was like, yeah, I should have done better. He holds himself to a higher standard. He's just got the yips. It seems like he's got the yips there.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like an imperfect match with him on the field for Argentina lately. And yeah, it just sucks. But I think you have to say that his stock goes down. Like, my opinion as to whether or not he should start is changed. Now I'm looking at Garnacho as an option.
Everybody is.
And well, yeah, everybody is. And dude, especially after that Community Shield goal. But yeah, it kind of sucks to say. Maybe I'll just say that. It sucks to say it, and
Yeah.
it hurts for me to say it. But yeah, I think you definitely have to look at this man and say, you're not delivering. At the end of the day, you're not
Yeah.
delivering. I like a lot of the stuff that's happening, but you're not delivering, and I've got to look at other options now. Full stop. It can be
100%.
that simple.
Yeah. I think he's the only Argentine that didn't walk away a massive winner from the Copa America. I actually think
Acuna.
maybe Acuna too, because Tagliafico said, "Give me that starting spot, little boy."
But I think that was more Tagliafico's excellence rather than Acuna
Correct.
flopping. Acuna
Correct.
showed up decent. He showed up okay.
He looked like Acuna, like a mildly out of form Acuna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Nico Gonzalez, everybody was like, Jesus Christ, like, get this guy out of the team.
Well, his mistakes were so glaring. Like, there were big moments that he dropped, and it wasn't just 1 or 2. It was at least 3, at most. Dude, I might even go so far as to say like 6.
Dude, I also saw another stat. He had a 12% successful take-on rate, which was the third lowest of all eligible players at the Copa America.
See, and that's
It
just
was, I
brutal.
think the only ones worse than him were Manfred Ugalde from Costa Rica. And there was another like semi-surprising name on there. I forgot who was second with at least 5 take-ons. But
Yeah,
anyways, Nico Gonzalez, yeah, we're both fans of him, but not a good Copa America. And the last
nah.
thing I'll say very quickly, Kyle Laren, Canada. To me,
Literally, he was my next one. Woo-wee.
dude, I mean, it looks like Jonathan David and Oluwaseyi. That's the combo going forward. Laren, he running. He just looked like your uncle was just a little too old out there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
he wasn't even running. A lot of those times, he was like
Well, he
trailing
can't run.
behind.
His
Like
knees are gone.
if Jonathan David's supposed to be the shadow striker, because he can pass better than Laren, why the hell is Laren in Jonathan David's position? Why is Jonathan David the one charging
Correct.
headlong at the freaking 2 center backs, and Kyle Laren's playing patty
Yeah.
cake in the back with Larea, which that's a different discussion because that man's on my
It
list
was
too.
Richie
Don't think I
Larea.
forgot about you.
It was Richie Larea. He was the worst dribbler at the Copa America. He had 9 attempted take-ons, 0 successful take-ons.
And his attitude during that whole time was just one
Trash.
of like
Yeah.
it was just dog water. He had the attitude of a much better player, which was shocking. I was like, "What are you doing?"
He is a
Can I
douche.
throw in my honorable mentions here really quick?
Yeah, let's
I got a
just
few.
name them and let's go into
All right.
stock up.
Oh man. All right. I got Alexis Sanchez, Larea,
Oh, he's
and
on mine too.
yeah. My last one here. This is a big one.
Okay.
Messi. I'm putting Messi on there.
Yep. No argument from me.
Okay.
I mean, he's just getting old, man. That's really what it comes down to.
He's just getting old, and this is probably the third
He's just
time I've
getting
had
old.
this. He's proved me wrong twice, and who knows, he might go on to do God's work in the MLS, and he will go on to do God's work in the MLS, but it's just not to the standard that you once expected. And I understand he was injured, but what's the timeline for that? So I'll make an apology case for that later. Stock up.
Yeah. Look. These opinions are malleable. So if you guys let us know if there's any of the stock downs that you guys disagree with. Let's get into stock up now. I'm gonna go my biggest stock up because this guy impressed me more than anybody else.
Do we
There's
have the
really
same
kind of
one?
like a twin-headed dragon.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Richard Rios, Colombia.
Richard Rios and Gimenez.
No, Gimenez wasn't in my stock up, and I'll talk about that.
Okay.
Why?
Okay, I had them as like the
Okay.
twin, the Colombian connection is what I called it. I almost put them in the
Okay.
same spot, but I thought that was kind
Okay.
of cheating. But let's talk about Richard Rios. Let's talk about Richard Rios here.
Okay.
Go, make your case.
Okay. Well, my first bullet point is I probably could have added 7 Colombians, but I
Yeah.
won't because
Yep.
I think just special nomination. Davinson Sanchez, great tournament. Jefferson Lerma, for God's sake. I mean, the guy is. I'm
Get
a
this
simp
man a
at this point.
contract.
Get this man a contract,
contract.
dude. Never forget when Bournemouth let him go on a free to Crystal Palace last season. I mean, just unbelievably stupid business there. And then they paid 10 mil for Julian Araujo. Hit subscribe. I'll talk about that later. I don't know what's going on at Bournemouth, but ain't nothing good. Richard Rios. I think there's 2 examples of a player who went from 0 to hero at this tournament. I think Richard Rios is no doubt one of them. I mean, do you need any more of a validation externally for a player having a stock up tournament than like 4 different Premier League teams wanting to buy you, including Manchester United? I saw Fulham on there. I think I saw Palace. And I can't remember. I think it's probably Chelsea, but Chelsea linked with everybody, so maybe that's not a good.
But the point is that you're going from a situation where you're perpetually injured, looking at being cut from not only your home team, but your loan team, and then you make a transfer and you can't make that work either. And you're just kind of floating around like, oh my goodness, is this the end of my footballing career here? Am I losing the momentum? And yeah, you kind of look dead in the water, and then you come out and you become truly one of the top 5 players in the tournament. Inarguably.
Yes, he was a top 5 player at the tournament.
Yeah.
He and Jefferson Lerma, I think, are the 2 Colombians who you can say they never had a bad game. Maybe you can throw Davinson on there too. Like, just did not have a bad game. The difference is Lerma got suspended. Richard Rios didn't. And And I think it's important to me that those two gentlemen also seem to be the only two Colombians who weren't rattled in the final. Like, they were still trying. They were still doing things. It was like the rest of the team, especially Luis Diaz, like, just kind of vanished when the lights got turned on. You didn't see that with Richard Rios. This is a dude who started playing professional ball like 6 years ago. I mean, he was a futsal player before that. That's why he's so gifted on the ball. And I keep my ears to the streets, both with mixtapes, hip hop mixtapes, and also with footy mixtapes. Name me another player who had more highlight reels made of him during the Copa America than Richard Rios. You will not find one. You will not find one. His little like dance shimmy against Uruguay, I've seen 300 iterations of that dribble move that he did, where 3 Uruguayans cannot get him off the ball, including, I'm pretty sure Fede's in there.
Fede
He
made the
literally
hype
put Fede
tape,
on the
but he
mixtape.
made the wrong
He
hype
made
tape.
hype tape, dude. Crazy business from Richard Rios, man.
Yikes.
The ascension
Yeah.
is insane. I love him. I love him.
I'm gonna go. Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna save this one for honorable mention.
Okay.
But dude, should I do it?
You got to say it, bro. You got to do it, bro.
Nah, these are two. This is prop. I'm about to spew some. You want propaganda or do you want a legitimate shout?
Let's go
Tell me.
propaganda. Let's go
Oh, all right.
propaganda.
I'm going Nandes. I'm going Nandes from Uruguay. My man's a
Wow,
dog.
that is propaganda.
My
Okay.
man is a down dirty dog, and this is straight eye test here. I didn't even look up stats. I put it on here, and I said, "I'm the vibes are going to carry me here." The man is a dog. He got after it. He gave 110%. Besides, every single game, in spite of the fact that he's one of the oldest guys on the pitch, right, in the furthest
Mhm.
position away from the goal. But he got on it at
Yep.
both ends. He was a defensive monster, locking up some of the best talent that South America has to offer. And he still had some energy to get to hoof it up the pitch and contribute offensively. Like, the man just wouldn't stop. I remember it was like watching Advíncula in that Boca Juniors game that we went to at the Bombonera in Argentina. I mean, it
Mhm.
was just like I didn't know you had anything else left to give. This
Yeah.
is just a renaissance from this man. I
Yeah.
don't know. Dude, I just couldn't stop watching him. He was one of the most exciting points of Uruguay's game plan. And I mean, I think that just speaks to like you said earlier, the verticality of the team. But if Fede is a nothing burger and it became very stagnant at times with him in midfield, you could always count on him passing to his right back to hoof it up
Mhm.
the field and pretty much ignore any sort of resistance that the opposing midfield had to offer.
Mhm.
And dude, the dude's willing to get a red card. The dude's willing to put his body on the line and to change the trajectory of the game at the expense of his own tournament so that his team can
Yeah.
advance. And I think that's everything that you want. I mean, we're both really big Sergio Ramos fans, you know. I
Mhm.
love that part of Luis Suarez's game where, he's gonna put his hands on the ball, catch the red card, get that offensive or that defensive foul on the chase down. Like, that's just what you want. That's a team player through
Yeah.
and through. Nandes, his stock is soaring for me.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure with 90% confidence that DePaul and Nandes are related, because if Rodrigo DePaul played right back, he would be Nahitan Nandes, like,
He
without a
would be
doubt.
Nandes, yeah. Yeah.
He is Nandes. Like, they are the same person. Have you ever seen Nandes and DePaul on the field at the same time? I'm just saying. Um, yeah, I love Nandes, and I think you look no further than how average Uruguay looked without him after the
Yeah.
red card as an indicator of, like, oh yeah, this dude is pretty important to this team. Daniel Munoz, same thing for Colombia, but I can't go stock up because he missed the final
Yeah.
for idiotic circumstances. I'm gonna go massive winner from CONCACAF, the Schaff himself, Jacob
Dude,
Schaffelberg.
yes. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
You
I
you have
mean,
to. You have to put him
you
up there.
have to. You have to. If anybody still thinks Liam Miller should be the starting left wing for Canada, like, you need shock therapy. I don't know what to tell these people.
Liam
Every
Miller
time Liam
had
Miller got
one
on the
good
ball,
game.
it was an embarrassment.
He had one good game.
Dude, he maybe a good moment. maybe a good moment. It's just it's not even a discussion to me anymore. And I think anybody who like created a massive gap between them and the challenger in the depth chart, let alone Schaffelberg leapfrogging Jesse Marsh's go-to number one and locking that spot down, you have to go massive stock up.
Massive stock
Absolutely.
up. Yeah.
Bruh, fourth in the Copa America in expected assists. His passing is still really inaccurate. Like if you look at his passing stats, it's still quite bad, but it's his progression on the ball and just pure sweaty speed that makes him perfect for Jesse Marsh ball. Perfect. He has to him, Oluwaseyi, Jonathan David. I don't even care who you throw right wing. Could be Tejan, could be Rishi Larea. I mean, they're just gonna be running at you, dude. It's like 2012 Ivory Coast. It's just like pace all over the place.
Yeah.
So Schaffelberg, bro, massive, massive winner.
Gotta be.
You have another
My next
CONCACAF
one,
player specifically?
CONCACAF. Yeah, I do. He's not. I was gonna put him as an honorable mention because I don't think his stock soared, but I think he definitely cemented his selection. At least in the latter half, he had one or I think it was just one game where he was just not home. But Kone, Kone finished the tournament
Mm,
strong, strong.
I love that.
I mean, he
I love
cemented
that.
himself in my mind at least, you know. I remember seeing some moments of being like, "What? Where are you? Like, what? You're in the game. I see you on the sheet, but I don't know where you're at." But dude, those last couple games, like he had an impact. I think, especially in that Uruguay game, dude
Yeah.
was a dog. Dude was
He
a
was a
dog.
freak
If
against
he had
Uruguay.
played like that all tournament, I mean, I think we're looking at potentially a different tournament for Canada. But yeah, yeah, Kone definitely changed my mind.
I like that. I like that one a lot. I had another Canadian honorable mention, Moises Bombito.
Yeah.
He had the most clearances at the Copa America. Like, dude, it wasn't even funny. He had like 40, and the second best had like 24 or something like that. I mean, like by far leading in that category. 85% tackle success rate, which was the second best at the entire Copa America.
And he
Do
was
you
facing
know
a
who had
lot.
a
He was
he
facing
was
a
facing a
lot.
lot. Do you know who had the highest tackle percentage at the Copa America?
Was it Guti Romero?
It was Cuti Romero, 92% successful. I mean, like, y'all got to stop playing with this man. Y'all really got to stop
Stop.
playing with this man.
Stop. The Spurs have locked
And
up one of the best defensive talents in the world. And I mean, what Real
it's
Madrid's
insane.
coming knocking now, man's not leaving. Man's not leaving. He
No.
better not.
Cuti, I mean, maybe he a winner, dude. He was like top 5 in literally every category.
Yeah.
It was insane.
But I already have him locked up as,
Yeah.
world class. So
Yeah, he is world class. He is a top 5 center back. Anybody saying any different? I mean, how many medals does this man need to win before y'all just stop playing with him?
yeah.
But this was supposed to be about Moises Bombito, but also shout out to Cuti Romero for being a dog. You got another one?
Dude, I got plenty. Are you want another real one, or should I get into some honorable mentions, some fun ones? You know
I
what?
got
Look,
two big
hey,
ones, and then I'm pretty much done.
okay. Let me get one big one here,
Okay.
and let's see. I got Brereton Diaz. I got
Because he
Brereton
was the
Diaz
only
on
one who
this.
didn't embarrass himself?
Yeah, I would say less so from a perspective of, oh, he played a really excellent Copa America, and like, oh, he shone here. My man, he looked like one of the only bright spots. If, we were worried about the language barrier before this, like, screw it. Everybody else learn English.
Screw it.
Everybody else learn
Correct.
English. Meet in the
We've
middle.
hit that
Start
point.
speaking French. Start speaking, Cantonese to each other. I don't give a damn what it is. American Sign Language. Rip it. Find something.
You got to play him.
Whatever hand signal he's got to throw up that means, hoof it on the right wing.
Mm-hmm.
You adjust to that, because I mean, he was one of the only bright spots, and there were a couple games where he was quiet, but I'd say that was just strength of opposition. You know,
I
dude,
would say it's Chile being terrible.
Chile being terrible. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, he's got to play.
he's got
He's
to play.
got to play.
Had to say it.
I love that one. A dude who I also think has got to play. I got Balogun. I think Balogun was a big winner. Um, I think him and Joe Scally were probably my two stock ups the most for the
Joe
US.
Scally. What a shout. What a shout. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I think Joe Scally kind of made everybody chill out, like, hey, I got this if something happens. Balogun, I just think after this, he's clearly the best 9 in the pool, and I don't even think there's an argument for that. I already thought that, even though I'm a big Pepe guy as well. Some guys like Josh Sargent. There's Haji Wright after very successful club seasons. There's some people calling for his name too. But Balogun was playing bully ball against Uruguay. Like, it's not just he looked good against Bolivia and then turned into a ghost. He was good in all 3 games. He was the best player against Panama. Scored an absolute worldie. As soon as he's pulled, US goes on the back foot, ends up losing the game. So Balogun, I think a lot of people are like, okay, this 9 position, we don't even really need to talk about this too much anymore. Maybe he was already the majority favorite for the 9. I think he was. But if he's not polling 90% numbers and higher, then I think people just hating at this point. I think he was really good.
Oh, big dog. I gotta say it. I gotta throw an Argentine on here. And my man's stock has been, I don't know. Let's just say I'm very proud of him. Lautaro Martinez, take your flowers. Stand up, take your flowers here. Well deserved, well earned. I mean, he did everything he had to do. Golden boot with 2 starts in the Ballon d'Or conversation. I think he's the first legitimate claimant, or the first legitimate Argentine claimant to the Ballon d'Or since Messi has come to power and now is starting to wane. Right? He's the first sort of legitimate one that I've seen where I'm like, okay, this is a real discussion that we can start having now. I'm just so proud of him. Locked up his starting spot. Him and Julian have been playing kind of hot potato here. Julian decides to take a back seat, and Lautaro capitalizes in the exact way that he needed to. Man comes up, 5 goals. It speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. Really proud of what he's been able to do.
I think in terms of a personal level for Argentina, it's Lautaro and Licha who I think had the biggest stock ups. Everybody else, it was maybe like a little 5% boost for winning it again, like that. But I think those 2 individuals, for sure, took a pretty substantial jump. And now we're having a very interesting conversation about the 9 again for Argentina, which is good for Lautaro, probably not so good for Julian. My last guy, John Aramburu from Venezuela. I think he's another 0 to hero. Like, who the hell was this guy? He's like a 21-year-old kid playing for Sociedad. Like, nobody knows who he is. Then he shows up at the Copa America, has the most tackles of any tournament. He's second in the tournament in assists as a fullback for Venezuela, I want to add. Draws the game-winning, group-winning penalty against Mexico. This is the definition of a coming-out party for Aramburu. Absolute freak. Now I'm like,
He,
okay, I got to guy now.
he announced himself. This man stood on business.
Yeah. He showed
Come
up and they
collect
said,
your
"Do you have an
flowers.
invitation?" He said, "No, but I'm still coming in."
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And now take a seat at the table. Take a seat at the table, big guy,
Yeah.
because your name's up in
Mhm.
lights. I completely agree with that one. My last one that has any sort of legitimate claim here, and then I got one funny honorable mention. Dude, I got to go with Neymar. Man didn't play a
Okay.
minute. He's been injured. Brazil needs Neymar. Brazil needs Neymar. He didn't even,
100%.
I mean, he
Yeah.
wasn't in the tournament. And I mean, I think you have to say that his stock rose because of it. His stock rose. I mean, they were in dire need of this man. They were in dire need of this man through the whole tournament. It was like, where's Superman? Where is
Mhm.
Superman?
Mhm.
Because, I mean, the Justice League can't get it done right now.
No. People say that we hate on Brazil. We could have thrown way more Brazilians on that stock down section, dude. We really could. Rodrigo, oh my gosh. Don't ever say Rodrigo and world class in the same sentence for at least 3 years. I'm done. After that performance, Rafinha's got a free kick, and he made the official CONMEBOL team of the tournament. I'm like, did y'all even what? The brother didn't even play in one of their 4 games because he got benched. It wasn't a suspension. Dorival said, "You're not good enough." I mean, just
'Cause he wasn't.
crazy
He
performance.
wasn't.
Because he wasn't. He was the free kick saved him from the firing squad. Like, that's what it was. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I think we took it very easy on Brazil in this video. I do think Neymar's legacy, massive dub here. Like, inarguably. He's still a
Inarguably.
king in Brazil. Yeah.
Um,
You see, you got one more?
my
I'm
yeah,
out.
I got one
I'm out.
more.
I got no
This
ammo.
is kind of a fun one. It's all right. I was just gonna go Claudio Bravo's stash. Claudio Bravo's stash.
Yeah.
Keep it in. Lock it in. I mean, just look at what I'm rocking
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
You have to look at it. The man looks like a different beast there. He looks like landed Chilean gentry from like the late 1800s.
Yeah.
He's a stud.
He
An absolute
looks.
not to mention he had a pretty damn good tournament too. I don't even know.
Yeah, he kept it from being embarrassing for Chile. Yeah, dude, it's him and Jackson Irvine up there right now. Top stashes in international football.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to go higher than that, you got to look at rugby. And even then, I'm not even certain.
He's really holding it down for CONMEBOL. I'm struggling to think of better stashes in CONMEBOL. You don't see that very often.
No, you got to go north to CONCACAF and maybe what? I don't even know. Aaron Rodgers back in the day.
It's Takyao. That's the only one who I can think of. He just got the stash. But it ain't Bravo's level.
No, it ain't.
No.
It's not there.
No, Bravo got that. He got that 20 years in the game stash.
Yes, correct.
You got to unlock that one.
You got to unlock that one. That's a FIFA customization that you use on your new character because you unlocked it on the old character that's won a World Cup and 4 Champions Leagues,
100%. Yeah. So I'm okay with Claudio Bravo's stash being one of the biggest stock ups. The only other bright spot for Chile next to Brereton Diaz. Guys, we're going to end the episode there. If you enjoyed, make sure you smash the like button. If you're listening on streaming platforms, give the podcast a 5-star rating. Hit subscribe if you want more videos about international football. The Premier League is starting soon, so we will begin transitioning more and more content towards that. So if you like Prem, also hit subscribe. Drop your thoughts down below in the comments. We appreciate y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.